Jesus Christ, Mark. Oh no, I must be seeing a ghost, Mama. This man is a ghost. What do you mean, my daughter? This man is here in flesh and body. If he's a ghost, how then can you see him? By the way, Jude, my daughter, do you know him? Mama, Jude asked. Jude, please, I'm not a ghost, I'm a human being like you, Mark exclaimed as he sat on the couch. But, Mark, you disappeared. I'm sure you were dead because you were buried, she stuttered as she moved backwards. Me? Mark asked confusedly. Mark, do you mean you don't remember me? Do you mean you can't recognize my face? Jude asked, more shocked and with teary eyes. What's all this? Do you both know each other? And how? Mama, Jude asked. Mama, is this the man you said you were working for? Yes, my daughter, he is the one. I was working for him and his wife before the ugly incident that happened, the one I told you about. Mama, Jude responded. She continued, Mr. Mark is a very nice man, but because he married an evil woman he had to go through so much. As he is now, he's so lost and grief-stricken. I am not even shocked that you think he's a ghost, after losing his daughter to the cold hands of death and finding out that a family he has built and labored for has all been a lie. Maria, it would never be well with you. Mama, I don't think he's a ghost. I am indeed very sure that he is a ghost. Jude responded immediately. She goes inside her room, gets a mirror and a pin and comes out with him to try out some traditional, superstitious beliefs. As she got back to the parlor, her mother began to laugh, while Mark silently watched to see what she wanted to do with the objects. Jude, my daughter, you've become more funny. What do you need those objects for? Mama, Jude asked. Mama, to check if he's truly a ghost, because there's no way my Mark would see me without recognizing me instantly. Jude responded. What do you mean by your Mark? This man is my boss and he's the one that paid me every penny you and your children fed on. You need to add sir to his name. Mama, Jude said. No, Mama, I'm okay with being called Mark. Mark immediately cut in. Jude places mirror in front of Mark to check if there'll be a reflection, because of the belief that ghost reflection doesn't show on mirrors or camera. She checks and sees his reflection, but she only sighs and goes ahead to drop the pin on the floor for Mark to pick it up, because she believes ghost hands can't touch the ground, and it is also believed that ghosts can't pick a pin. Mark, can you please pick this pin on the floor for me? Jude asked Mark. Ha ha ha, Mama, Jude, your daughter is very dramatic, but I'll still pick it to prove to her that I'm not a ghost. Jesus. Mama, he picked it up. Mama, oh, Mark is not a ghost, Jude said. She proceeds to touch and pinch him and continued to exclaim. Mama, he's here in flesh and body. She began to cry as she ran into her room. Both Mama, Jude and Mark were very shocked with the attitude she displayed with them. Mama, Jude, what's wrong with your daughter? Why is she crying? Mark asked. Jude, my son, the same way you're seeing it is the same way I'm seeing it. I'm even more shocked than you. Are you sure you don't know my daughter, Jude? Because with what she's displaying, it seems she knows you and believes you were dead. Mama, Jude said. Mama, Jude left Mark in the sitting room and went to her daughter's bedroom, where she found her crying profusely. She became very confused as to why her daughter was crying that much over a stranger she just met. She began to shake her and wipe her tears to get an explanation from her. Jude, what's the problem? You've just been acting up since Mr. Mark came here. Do you know him? Mama, Jude asked. Mama, how do I explain? How do I say it? I believed he was dead all these years. Jude said. Answer my question. Mama, Jude retorted. Okay, Mama, yes, I know him, he's the father of my children. Mama, Jude falls to the floor, spreads her leg and begins to cry. Both daughter and mother sat in the room crying profusely. Jesus, the father of your children. Jude, my daughter, What do we do now? We have to tell him. Mama Jude said. No mama, can't you see? He has been alive and refused to look for his family. Mama, his father told me he died in an accident and was buried. I kept crying and calling him, because I had his children in my womb, but I never got a response. Even when I visited his home, his father took me to where he was buried and told me to forget about him. So mama, how come he's alive? I can't believe it. Jude said with teary eyes and croaked voice. Oh my God. How do we do this now, Jude? What are we going to do about this? Mama Jude asked, with concern written all over her face. Because the way this man is, it's as if he doesn't even recall anything, not to talk of remembering you. If he does, he would have recognized you at first sight, Mama Jude continued. Should we tell him? Mama Jude asked, looking at Jude for a response. No, Mama. Mama, we can't. Jude responded, her eyes filled up with tears. Mama, we can't, I'm not ready, because if he's still alive and the same Mark I know, then it means his father lied to me about the whole incident. But Mama, why? Jude asked, her voice shaking with emotion. Jude, my daughter, his father must have had his reasons. Maybe he didn't want to hurt you with the fact that his son may not be able to remember you after the accident. Maybe the accident affected his brain. Mama Jude added. No Mama. I won't just accept that Mark's father was protecting me. We need to get to the root of all this, because I need to know why he really lied to me. There's more to it, Mama. Jude said amidst tears, her voice trembling. There's more to this? Yes, my daughter. I know there's really more to it. He wouldn't just lie like that for no reason. Mama Jude said sympathetically. That's why I'm saying, calm down, and let's take it one step at a time. First, we'll find out from Mark about the accidents he had in the past. We'll listen to what he says, and then we'll know how to approach his father on this matter. Mama Jude said, placing a soothing hand on Jude's shoulder. Until then, my daughter, remember we left Mark alone in the sitting room. Let's go back to him. We can speak to him and ask him about the accident. Mama Jude said as she glanced toward the living room. You're right, Mama. Let's go. I wouldn't want to jump into conclusion. I really want to find out the whole story and the truth. Jude said, took a deep breath, wiped her tears while composing herself. Mama Jude and Jude both returned to the sitting room, where Mark waited, and found him asleep on the couch. Mark, my dear, I can see how tired you're. This sleep is good for you. You need to have some rest and get peace of mind. After all your wicked wife did to you, I won't stop saying it. That woman deserves to be burnt alive for all the atrocities she committed. Mama Jude said while glaring at the sleeping Mark. Timothy has been outside checking out Mama Jude's compound, taking some fruits like mango and guava and eating them to keep himself busy. But after eating to his satisfaction, he went into the parlor and saw Mama Jude staring at Mark while he slept. Oh, Mama Jude, why are you staring at Mark, my friend, like this? Is he a sleeping beauty? Timothy asked and laughs. No, I'm just happy to see him rest a bit after all the stress his wicked wife had put him through. Mama Jude responded. Honestly, Mama, if I had a gun on that day of the verdict, I would have shot that woman. She's very evil. Imagine getting pregnant for another man and imposing it on Mark. Very evil thing to do. The part of her covering up Samson for killing his sister Deborah, I understand, is mother's love, but she blaming you. No, it's pure evil. Timothy said as he shrugs his shoulders in disbelief. Oh, Mama, you're back. I hope your daughter has finally accepted that I'm not a ghost. Mark said as he opens his eyes tiredly and sits up on the couch. Yes, she has accepted. Don't mind Jude, she can be very dramatic sometimes. I'm glad you were able to get some rest. Make sure to sleep often. Mama Jude responded. Jude had earlier on left the sitting room when she entered with her mom. Seeing that Mark was asleep, she went and prepared a meal for them. After preparing the meal, she dished it out for Timothy and Mark, and she carried it to the sitting and was murmuring to herself as she entered. What really happened to my Mark? So Mark father is this wicked? Did he lie to me because my mother isn't rich? Or because I am not rich? Now how do I tell Mark that I gave birth to his children and that I've never forgotten him even for one day? Thank God he's back. I still love him, but I don't know if he does. Jude said. Mark, my daughter is a very good cook. You'll enjoy her meal. Mama, Jude said as she smiled. She's very pretty as well. Mark said. Can't you see she's a replica of her mother? Even in her old age, Mama Jude is still very beautiful. Mama Jude, is your daughter single? Let me come and marry her. Timothy said while staring at Jude in awe. Come, stop playing. I saw this pretty lady before you. If there's someone who should show interest, it's me. Mark said. Show interest in a woman? You're married, Mark. Timothy said, laughing and teasing Mark. God forbids. I have divorced that witch of a woman that almost cost me my life. I never forgive Maria. Mark said. My dear, you both should eat up before the food gets cold. Mama Jude said. After eating, Jude cleared up the place and came back to the sitting room, and they continued chit-chatting and laughing. Mama Jude saw that as an opportunity to talk about the accident. Mark, we need to ask you something. Mama Jude began with her voice gentle. Yes, please. Ask me anything. Mark replied. Tell us about the accident you had those past years. What do you remember? Oh, Mama, I don't like to talk about it. Mark responded, looking away. Why not? Jude added. Because he doesn't remember most things about the accident, except for what he was told most likely. Timothy added. Really? Mark doesn't remember anything. So, what was he told? Jude asked, very concerned. Mark's father and the doctors were the ones who told him about what happened, but Mark doesn't remember much about the incident himself. Timothy added. Yeah, that's right. I don't remember much. I only remember the accident itself, but so many things that happened the accident, I don't remember them, although I remember little things. Mark said. What are the little things you remember? Jude asked curiously. Mark shifted uncomfortably in his seat. Just bits and pieces. Dark images, really. And I don't know how real they are. Mark said. Dark images of people. Which people? Mama Jude asked. I don't know them, but I know I always see images of me and a woman, and we're always together, but I can't remember who. Mark said. I only remember a car hitting somewhere and darkness that covered and pain. But it's not clear enough. Hopefully someday I remember, but that's why I went abroad to start a new life after accident and forget everything about it. Mark said in a rather unsure way. Jude and her mother's eyes met, and they knew there was more to the story, and they were very determined to uncover it. They were not satisfied with the response they were getting, so they kept asking questions. Mark, we need to know more, Mama Jude asked gently. Don't you see the face of the dark images? Jude added. No, that's all. I don't remember anymore. Mark responded. Jude immediately figured out that Mark was either hiding something or his father was the bane of the whole secrecy. Mark, are you sure you don't remember the face of the lady you always see when you try to remember? Jude asked. No, I don't. But why do you keep asking? Mark responded. That's because we just want to know. We care about you. Mama Jude added. Mama, we will be on our way now. Mark added. Jude said, are you people going to come back next time? Because we haven't finished this story yet. Jude said. Mark was so surprised and was searching his heart to know why she was much interested in his story. We will visit again, because this is where I find my solace. I will keep coming back. Mark responded. As they saw them off to the door of the sitting room, they bumped into Justin, the son of Jude. "See this fine boy," Timothy said. "Yes, the boy is really handsome." "Mama Jude, is he your grandson that you always talk about?" Mark asked. "Yes, he is." Mama Jude responded in affirmation. "Is he the son of Jude, your daughter?" Mark asked. "Yes, he is." Mama Jude responded. "Is it my eyes, or do I see a resemblance between Justin and Mark?" Timothy said. "Maybe it's your eyes, because they don't know each other." Mama Jude responded. "Who knows? It's a small world." Jude said. Mark turned to her in shock and looked at her. "Why do you think it's a small world? And why do you think your son would look like me? Do we have any form of relationship that will make him look like me?" Mark asked. "Who knows? It's a small world." Jude still responded. Unsure of why Jude was responding to him in that manner, he left with his friend, fixed in his mind to return and understand why Jude thinks her son resembles him. As Mark and Timothy drove out of the compound, Mark's mind was racing with questions. Why did Jude seem so interested in his past? And what did she mean by "it's a small world"? Timothy noticed Mark's distraction. "Jude, what's wrong? You've been quiet since we left Jude's place." Timothy asked. "I don't know, man. I just feel like there's something Jude isn't telling me," Mark said, shaking his head in an unsure way. "Like what?" Timothy asked, raising his eyebrow. "I don't know. Maybe something about my past. Or my family." Mark continued. "You think Jude knows something about your family?" Timothy asked in a thoughtful way. "I'm starting to think so. And that boy, Justin, he really resembles me, and why would she want to know so much about me? It feels like we've met each other or we know each other before now. You're starting to sound like a mystery novel. Life is not a movie," Timothy said. "Honestly, Timothy, I feel something is off," Mark added. His determination to return to Mama Jude's house increased. He would return to Jude's place, and this time, he must uncover the truth. Back at Jude's compound, Mama Jude and Jude kept talking to each other. "Mama, why did you let him go?" Jude asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Mama Jude smiled. "He'll be back, dear. And when he is, we'll be ready, and he'll be ready as well." "I pray he remembers," Jude said. "Yes, dear. The truth will come to light soon enough. And your children will finally get to meet their father," Mama Jude said. As they walked back into the house, Justin came to her mom. "Mommy, who were those men?" Justin asked, curiously. Jude smiled, her heart skipping a beat. "It is Mama's boss and his friend. They came to visit Mama." But as she looked at Justin, Jude couldn't shake off the feeling that Mark was the father of her children and that his father the king lied to her all those years. Now would Mark return and tell them the whole truth about the accident? Would Jude tell him about her children with him? Would the truth be uncovered about Jude being his lost love? And the woman the chief priest spoke about who bore 2 children for him, is their meeting a mere coincidence or a reunion for both families? What is going to be the fate of Samson, Justine and Justina? Thanks for watching. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell to be notified whenever we post the final episode. See you in the final episode.